got a hole in my overshoe.
Hopefully it won't rain today.
It does allow for some nice ventilation though. Good morning everybody, welcome back to another video. This is the third day in a row now I'm out, and it's also the third day in a row that I'm just targeting endurance. So the 2.5 hours yesterday and 3 hours the day before. It's the coldest of the 3 days so far. It's 1 degree, but it is only 8:30 in the morning. Quite a few people are starting to do those endurance rides now, and it's not because it's the time of year to do them, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as the right time of year to do endurance, or base mileage as we call it. The time of year you do the endurance is really kind of based upon your own goals and where you are in your training cycle and how far out you are to your main event. So if I was on a group ride this morning and I was out riding at this pace and everyone else was riding at this pace, but then a couple of people were jumping away at the top of the hills and sprinting over the top, I couldn't sit here and go, you're not supposed to do that, this is base miles. I don't know what they're training for. They could be training for cyclocross, in which case they'd need that intensity now. Well, it's taken me an hour, but I finally made it onto some quieter main roads just north of Llandilo. My ticker now says 0 degrees, and it did rain about half an hour ago, and I made a pretty silly mistake of not putting my mud guards on, which is one of the key parts to successful endurance riding. Seems like today would be a good time to share with you some of my favorite tips for making endurance riding or long rides in the winter easier, especially if you live somewhere like this where it's cold and wet. Now let's kick things off, actually in no particular order, and if you have any of your own tips, leave them down below in the comment section, because this list is incomplete for sure. First one is on the theme of no mudguards today. I would definitely buy a mudguard. A double whammy in effect, because not only are you protecting your back and therefore your spinal fluid and everything that's kind of like at the center of your core body temperature and everything, you're also protecting your feet, your calves, your lower limbs, your lower extremities. And I'm sure you're like me in many ways. If your extremities get cold, it's really, really difficult to hold on to your body heat. Tip 2, I guess, is to drink calories on the bike in the winter, maybe more so than I usually do, because it's easier than trying to chew a half-frozen bar, if you find that difficult to do, which I do, okay? Now, where are you going to carry all this food? Because obviously your rear pockets are going to be full of pumps, phone, spare jacket, spare gloves, spare base layer. Well, that's where a bar bag comes in handy, to be honest. A bar bag or frame bag or anything allows you to carry a bit more extra what you need, because you'll definitely feel like eating more when it's cold, you know. So having the extra food with you, I cannot stop eating on cold winter rides. I just love eating on these big rides. I don't really use these rides as a chance to kind of test like how far I can ride fasted or anything like crazy like that. All I do is load up on calories, eat food, drink food if it's really that cold. So I think it goes without saying that I always recommend trying to find people you can share an endurance ride with, right? Like, we'll be starting up local group rides on Saturdays soon, and also we've got group rides with Backpedal unofficially organised on the Discord server on a Sunday morning. Great. Why do I always decide to vlog when I come to a big hill? One thing I used to like really stress and worry about, but I've learned from experience now, is the consistency when you're doing endurance training or long rides matters more than actually like trying to stick to any kind of heart rate or power target. You know, it's coming out more and more now, I guess, that you know, your body just doesn't respond to, or doesn't work in zones. You know, we have these power zones and things, heart rate zones, but your body doesn't like work off those. You work off those, but your body doesn't. And I always used to stress about, you know, oh, am I riding hard enough, you know, because this is supposed to be endurance, zone 2, and, you know, I've got to be on it the whole time. But I came to realize that actually, because of the volume that I do, I just had to be consistent during these rides. And if I burn myself out because I'm always riding, you know, in zone 2 or whatever, trying to get these rides done, then, you know, it's better for me individually to back it off a little. I know most of my workouts have a power target when it comes to these long rides, but they're just a target, and I don't tend to stick to it. I just get out and ride my bike. And I know it'll differ for people if you've got less hours to spare to train, you know, then I would encourage you to ride where you should try and ride. I've started to think about endurance as any sort of effort where I'm not sat on the sofa. I know it sounds silly, but you know, if I'm riding at 120 beats a minute, that's double my resting heart rate, for example. That is causing changes inside my body on a cellular level. And I think, you know, I used to be very caught up in all the TSS and the numbers on these rides, and now I'm not so much anymore. And I'd kind of encourage you to have a more open mind to endurance riding. My favorite example of this is these changes that you'll get in fitness, you likely won't notice because they're all internal. You know, I'm not sitting there going up this hill and grimacing and my body's going back and forth. There's none of that. That's external. That shows I'm putting effort in. And I know a lot of people struggle to get on the bike and then get off it having not done any of that. But endurance riding or long rides are very much just the opposite. And that's why riding in a group or just trying to find ways to mellow out your excitement during these rides is a great way of passing the time, making them fun and getting the job done. Something that I'm planning on doing for the next month is doing sort of the same route over and over again. So like today is 4 hours, but I'm going to make a sort of note of how long this ride takes me, this loop. What my power is, my average power, normal power, average heart rate, max heart rate, and then every so often when I do a 4-hour ride, I'll do this loop. And whereas before, I always used to like say, oh, I'm gonna do a different route every time. But if I ride it the same, so constantly like pressing and applying the power and trying to get around this loop as quick as possible in zone 2, almost like a time trial, but a very, very slow time trial or low effort time trial, then it gives me an indication of if my fitness is increasing without actually doing any fitness tests. So it's kind of like a fun way of doing it, if you understand. This is probably right up there with one of my most favourite roads in the local area. This is a little village called Laverack. I know. And we're heading sort of along this really nice paved new tarmac road, and it follows the river just down here, takes us to Beic. Beic, you climb out of there and it's back into Laverack. But this whole road is just like, it's just such a quiet, still a main road, but just really nice. Well, ride complete. That was certainly adequate. The sun has been so strong. Okay, so some stats from the ride, just shy of 4 hours, 105k. 198 watts average, 205 normalized, so pretty much no variability in there at all. Just keeping the chain tight the whole time. 135 TSS and intensity factor of 0.59, so heart rate 125 and max 137.
By the way, I would be fibbing if I said I didn't start feeling that in the last hour. I'm glad that's over. So last night didn't go as planned. I was kind of hoping to end this video with a clip of Charlie doing her 5-minute test, because obviously she did a 3-minute test in the last video. But she got home from work and had to do more work on the laptop when she got back. So time dragged on and I was making food, which was very nice, if I do say so myself. But yeah, time got away, so she couldn't get on the bike. She's finishing early from work today, so she might get a chance to ride, maybe. But she's also got like Saturday and Sunday. She's got ballet Saturday night, Sunday night for 2 hours of performing, so that's going to be quite strenuous. So I don't know whether or not she actually wants to do like a 5-minute test today with that on the weekend, but we'll see. We will see.